Welcome to this Instagram live, and we are going to talk about the 3 ways to land your next client. My goal with this live training is to give you practical tips that you can apply and get started right now and land a few clients in the next few days. That is my goal with this live training. Okay, so we are going to talk about 3 ways to do this. I have my notes over here so that I don't miss any point that I want to talk about. So the first thing, let's just dive deep. We don't need an introduction or anything to go through. Let's talk about it, right? So the first thing that I want you to focus on, and this might seem like it's not what you want to do, but if you work on this would be like, oh my God, this will give you so many aha moments when you actually do this exercise, right? What I want you to do is to think of what has worked for you in the past before. And I want you to dig deeper into this. Dig deeper, which means that it's not just like, okay, I did that. The biggest problem that most people go through when they try to do this is that they don't think that they have achieved anything. This is the biggest problem. I mean, this literally, when I realized this has changed my business all over. When I realized that I have made a lot of sales, I have sold out so many launches, and yet I wasn't owning those results. Now these are all of the results for my program, for my industry. Now for your industry, your results would be completely different. But the thing is that when you have a slump going on in your sales, you haven't been making a lot of sales, let's say, the biggest problem is that it's not that only the sales are going down, but your confidence goes down along with it as well. And that is the biggest problem actually holding you back from making sales, because you cannot go out with high vibe energy. You don't have that energy that really attracts your ideal clients, right? So the first thing at this point that you want to do is to actually start owning your results. Start owning your results. What have you achieved? Ask yourself, even just small results that you might have gotten in your industry, right? And own those results. For example, for my industry, I would ask myself, okay, what all results I have gotten. So I would say, when I have a high, every time when you've gotten any kind of even just small result. So for example, if you're in my industry, I would ask yourself, anytime when you've signed one client, or anytime when you have got even just one inquiry, anytime someone reached out to you asking you a question, all of those things, right? And own that result. Because the problem is that when you don't own that result, when you haven't owned it, what happens is that you cannot actually go back and think, how did I achieve that? Because you don't think that you did that. You think that that result happened by fluke or by luck. When you actually own that, yes, I did that, yes, I know that I did that, first step is to owning the result, and then you can ask yourself, okay, what did I do? Now let's just reverse engineer, right? What did I do to achieve that result? And then just reverse engineer. And now at this point, I want you to dig deep into every single thing that you did. So not even just thinking about what are strategies that I used. That is not digging deeper. That is like the overall strategy that we are talking about. But I also want you to go deeper into that. Inside that, like, what was the CTA that I used at that point when I got that inquiry, right? The second thing that you can ask yourself is, what was the offer messaging that you used at that point that got you that client, right? You can also go ahead, and this is one of the strategies that I always do, and I also teach my clients, is that every time you have a client, ask them what got them inside your program, because you can use this again and again, and you can use this thing more and more and build this thing into your marketing so that you attract the same type of clients even more, right? Because this is your attraction. This is how you do attraction marketing. Once you understand this is why people are coming to me, right? So asking your audience, asking the clients that you have right now, what worked, like what made you join this program, what did I say. And this, if you want to implement this, easiest way to implement this is to have this in your application form. Have a question in your application form: why did you choose to work with me? Right? And that will just give you all of the things, and then you can 10x on that. Like, this worked with this client, okay, I'm going to do more and more of that, right? And this is going to, even this just one thing is going to change the whole game for you, because if that worked for one client, obviously there are other people who love that as well. If you do it once, that got you client once. If you do it again and again, if you 10x this, that is going to get you client again and again, more and more clients, right? So that is one thing. The second thing is, think of what offer promise did you use at that point when you got that client, or when you got that inquiry as well, right? And this is the biggest problem that I see with most people when they actually don't have a strategy behind selling their programs, is that every time they sell their programs, there's a different offer messaging. Not the offer messaging, the promise is even the different. The promise is different. So sometimes you put it like this, sometimes you put it like this, sometimes you just, like, there's no consistent offer promise that happens every single time. You're just using a different promise every time, and that is inconsistency. This kind of inconsistency just doesn't get you clients. So what you want to do is think of what offer promise you used when you got that client, and then actually use that offer promise now, because it works. Instead of actually coming up with, because I will tell you, this is the biggest problem, and that is when you are really good at your industry, you are actually an expert in your industry. You not getting clients does not tell anything about how good you are at what you do, right? So if you are in mindset, or if you're in art industry or any kind of industry, right? You are really good at your work. If you're not getting clients, that's a marketing problem. That's not your problem. It doesn't mean that you need to get your confidence down, right? So if you are thinking that I'm not signing clients right now, and because of that your confidence is getting down, there's no reason to do that, because you not signing clients has nothing to do with your skills in your industry, right? And what you want to do is, when you are actually getting into marketing, the biggest problem is that you really know you are really expert at your industry, but you don't know how to market. So you actually start following 10 different people to learn marketing, and then those 10 different people will give you 10 different ways to sign clients, and then you're like very confused about where to go, and then you put your feet in every one of those boats. This is shiny object syndrome. You try to do every one of those things, and none of those work for you, and then you think that none of those strategies work, none of those coaches' strategies work. But the problem is not that their strategies don't work. I would say that all of those people's strategies work, but it didn't work for you because you're not digging deep into any one of these strategies. You are actually using shiny object. You're actually doing shiny object syndrome. Right? So instead of that, because when you follow so many people, someone will tell you, okay, you need to do ads. Someone will tell you you need to do launches. Someone will tell you that you need to go on stories and sell. Someone will tell you that you need to work on your mindset, but you actually don't know what is the right thing to do. So instead of actually focusing on what someone else is telling you to do, focus on what has worked for you before, because this is tried and tested. This is tried and tested by you and with your audience as well, because if you've signed clients using that, even if you don't have confidence right now that you can replicate it right now, but if you have signed clients through that strategy, or whatever you used, whatever, even think of the platform that you used, whatever that is, if that has worked for you, that means that your audience actually reacts positively to that as well. So this has worked not only for you, but also for your audience. This is tried and tested for you. What you want to do is only focus on that one strategy and actually digging deep into that and learn more of that, improve your strategy into that, and do 10x more of that. This will help you sign clients, literally so many clients. Like, this is the thing that you want to work on. You don't want new strategies, you just want to improve on the strategies that have worked for you. And you can, in order to improve on that, you can also join the programs of people who are teaching about that, instead of actually joining programs where you haven't tried those things and you are actually joining programs and you don't even know whether that will work for you. Because we want to make sure that there's at least one strategy that is working for you, at least one platform that is bringing you consistent sales, and then you can actually move on to the next one, right? So if I tell you about my story, I have literally tried blog posts, tried Pinterest, tried YouTube, tried whatnot, like every single thing, but Instagram worked for me. In fact, in Instagram, because I'm talking about digging deep, inside Instagrams, I know that the Instagram stories and content, that is working for me. I know that launches work for me. So that is what I do. I have just combined all of that, the stories, the content, and the launch, and I'm always in the launch mode, but I'm not in the launch mode, that kind of thing. It's like it's really stress-free when I do it in that way. So once you figure out what has worked for you, it will be a boon for you. You just need to improve on that. And if you want to improve on that and you don't know how to do that, you can join programs about that, but don't go into the shiny object syndrome. Okay, and then do 2x, 10x more of that. What did you do? How can you replicate it? Exactly what did you do, right? When I actually created my new Instagram account, I knew that I was actually starting from scratch, but I knew that I had sold out launches before. I had made sales before, right? So that is what I did again. That is what I replicated, and this is the strategy that I used. Now, if you want to dive deep into this thing, I teach this in very detail inside Consistent Income Masterclass that you can join for just $67. So if you want to learn more about this and then actually use this to bring in consistent income, and there are more strategies that I teach there as well, then you can join that. The link is in bio. If it's not there, you can actually send me consistent in my DMs and then I'll send you the link. But this is one strategy. This is the first strategy that we were talking about, and this will get you sales like right away. This will get you, like, I promise you, this will get you sales, because this is tried and tested for you and for your audience. None of the other strategies might work as well as this one. Okay, the second strategy that I want to talk about is, let me make sure that I'm not leaving any point that I wanted to talk about. Okay, also think of the CTA. What CTA you are using. Was the CTA gentle, or was it tough love, or was it hard salesy kind of thing? What type of CTA? Because it's different for different people. This is how we actually come up with your sales style. Going back into every single thing that you did and how you did that, try to replicate all of it, and I promise you, you'd make sales in 48 hours. In 48 hours when you actually replicate this. If you've had any kind of slump in your sales that are happening, this is what you need to do. Okay, so the next thing, that second strategy that I want to talk about is, it's easy to actually make sales it's easy to sell to someone who has worked with you before, because you've built the trust, instead of actually finding new clients, right? So create a list of all of your past clients, get in touch with all of them, try to figure out what they are doing. Is it working for them? What are they struggling with right now? Now, we are not trying to make sales over here. We are just having a regular discussion over here, but this will help you get sales. This will help you because if those clients were actually happy with you, this will make you sales. If those were happy with you and they are struggling with something, you can give them an offer that is for them, specifically created for them, so that they can get more results. And that is why actually creating a list, keeping a list, you would already have a list of all of the people you've worked with before, but having this list and keeping in touch with them will help you a lot. Another is really similar to this one. Keeping a list of all of the people, those are your past leads. Past leads are all of the people who have ever asked you about any of your offers, right? They have reached out to you, asked you about any of your offers, and maybe they didn't join for some reason. Now, I promise you that they are interested in working with you still, but they haven't taken the leap yet. Okay, so they are interested in working with you. This is one person. Second might be someone you've had discovery or sales calls with. This is also one of your past leads. Anyone who watches your stories, these are your warm people who watches your stories till the end. These are your warm people because they want to learn everything from you. Every single person who is asking you questions inside your DMs, these are your warm people. You want to keep in touch with these people and make sure that these people are nurtured all the time so that you can make sales, right? So all of the people, everyone you've worked with before, people who joined your email list are your warm people, who joined your email list, who wanted that freebie, that lead magnet that you created. They are interested in learning about your strategies, right? People who are watching your lives, people who are like, think of all of the things. There are so many places where you can figure out who are the leads. Take all of these leads and start having a conversation with these people. Try to figure out what are they struggling with right now. And then if the conversation takes you to making a sale, then you can talk about your program and then ask them. It's really easy to just ask instead of going into that salesy conversation. Most people would be like, okay, I have this program and this is the link. That is not what you want to do. You don't want to give the link right away. What you want to do actually is to ask them, if you're struggling with this, I do have a program about this. Would you like to hear about that? So easy. Like you're not pushing the conversation. You're actually asking first. Then if they are like, okay, yes, I want to hear about that, you would give all of the details. And then if they are like, yes, I'm interested in this, then you would be like, would you like the link to sign up for that? And then they would be like, yes, I want that, please send me the link. This is where they feel like, yes, the conversation is in their control, not in your control. Even though the conversation is in your control, they should feel like the conversation is in their control, right? This is how the sales conversation goes really easy, and it feels easy to someone who is buying as well. The sales conversations in the DMs have never felt to me like those are salesy, or never felt hard to me. And also it has never felt hard to anyone who is coming to me asking for links or anything like that. It has never felt like that because this is how I take the conversation. You don't want to sell in, and this is not the topic that we are talking about today. So this is second tip, that keep a list of all of the people, past clients, past leads, and warm people. Keep a list of all of these, keep them nurtured so that you can sell to them when the situation arises, right? The last tip that I have for you is adding referrals to your current clients. You have current clients and past clients. You can also go to your past client, try to nurture them and ask, like, try to understand whether they are struggling with something. And if none of those happen and you are like, okay, I have to get a client right now, you can actually ask them, is there someone who you can refer me to? Is there someone who would really be, is there someone who would really need my help, who I can help with my services? This is really easy because, and you can also use this as this is one of the things that I have done with my feedback form. What I do is that at the end of the client term, at the end of the term, what I do is I give them a feedback form, and inside that feedback form, instead of actually asking them, would you refer me to someone, to your friend or someone like that, and most people would say yes to that. Instead of saying that, you want to ask, who would you refer me to? Can you think of someone like that? That will give you a lot, that will give them a lot of ideas of who they can refer you to, and that will give you more people, because you selling your program is a completely different thing, but your client selling your program is more trustworthy, because you would obviously sell your program, but if your clients are raving about it, that's a completely different thing, and people would join your programs when someone has referred you to them, right? So that is what you want to do, right? So this is the easiest way to do, and that is why even you can go to your past clients, even you can go to past leads as well, that if you can refer me to someone, and you can also go to your current clients and ask them if they would like to refer you to someone. And this is the easiest way to sign clients. Literally, you can just send a few messages and there you'd have a new client, right? There's no shame in that. There's no shame in this. If you feel shame in this, you shouldn't be doing marketing. Okay, if you are in business, asking for sales, asking for feedback, asking for referrals, shouldn't feel shame. You shouldn't feel shame for doing any of these. Okay, if you feel that, you need to work on that, work on your mindset. Okay, so these are the 3 things that I wanted to talk about, and I want to tell you that if you feel like I have a one-on-one program which I haven't been able to sell, maybe you've increased your prices and after that you haven't made any sales, and there's a slump in your one-on-one program sales, and now you feel like I don't know what to do, right? And I don't want to decrease my prices, or maybe you haven't increased your prices, but for some reason there have been slump in your one-on-one program sales, then I am doing a live training this Thursday, which means day after tomorrow, but that live training is not happening on Instagram, so you'll have to join this live training through the link in my bio, and then that will give you a link to get access to the live training. But this live training is different from the training that we did today, because this training is about generally how you get clients, but that is going to be about how to sign one-on-one clients, because the problem with one-on-one programs that are evergreen is that there's no urgency over there. There's no urgency. It's open all the time, which means that people feel like if it's open all the time, I can join anytime, right? So if you can join anytime, people don't get off the fence. So we are going to talk about all of the different ways in which you can get people off the fence, and this is a free training, so you can actually go to the link in my bio and join this training. And yeah, so this training is not happening on Instagram, so you'll have to join this, and the link is in my bio, and this is happening on Thursday 11th May, and which is day after tomorrow. Making sure that I don't miss anything. Okay, so you can join that as well if you're like, okay, I want to make sure that I am making sales for my one-on-one clients, there's no slump, and I can get people off the fence. Especially getting people off the fence is what we are going to talk about when you have an evergreen offer, right? So a lot of ideas, a lot of strategies we are going to talk about inside that live training. So join that, make sure you do that, and I'll see you next time. Bye.